A special thanks to Finnegans Wake for welcoming us into their space to bring you this episode. Finnegans Wake take pride in place in Edinburgh's famous Victoria Street, with live music 7 nights a week from a huge range of bands, including extra early live acts on Friday and Saturday, making for an amazing atmosphere. Finnegans is a hub for live sport, especially GAA Irish Football, Hurling, as well as showing all major sporting events across its many screens and central big screen. And what's better than local? Finnegans Wake have a wide variety of locally brewed craft beers, including the newly installed Caffrey's Irish Ale. Finnegans is a place for everyone, with amazing staff and entertainment to help you have the best night possible. And don't forget to send in your good time photos from the photo booth. Once again, thank you so much to Finnegans Wake. There is a slight technical difficulty with the audio just for the first minute of this episode. Please bear with it. I promise you it is worthwhile. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed being able to sit and listen to some of the great stories that were told. And now our guest today has made almost 450 appearances as a player for 8 different clubs, part of 4 league winning sides during his playing career, has made 3 major cup finals appearances as a manager, guiding Inverness Caledonian Thistle to their first Scottish Cup final and lifting the famous trophy. A very warm welcome to John Hughes. John, thanks for coming on. How have you been keeping?
Oh, brilliant, huh? Really well. Still looking to get back into the football. Finding that a little bit difficult at the moment, but hopefully a little bit of luck, someone will come my way.
Yeah, we'll go through the early stages of your life and all the way up until what you're doing just now. So you were born and raised in Edinburgh, Leith specifically. How was life growing up?
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I was thinking about that the other day actually. You know, everybody says that, you know, even if you come into if you win the lottery, I'm quite sure your life would change, but I would never want to change my upbringing for anything. I was off a family. I was the youngest of 6, 3 big sisters, 2 big brothers. My mother was off a family, I think it was 12. So you could imagine it was all cousins and aunties and uncles, and absolutely brilliant. So I was born just up for the docks. It's a wee place called the Kirgit, you know, down at the shopping centre, Fitterleaf Walk. That was sort of my era where we were brought up. And even now, all my best friends, although what I've done in football and what in life, all my best friends are still from my school days or jumping about, you know, about Leith. Absolutely brilliant, absolutely loved it.
Yep, and what was your earliest memory of football, whether it be playing in the garden or seeing something on the telly?
Constantly kicking the ball. My brothers played football, constantly kicking the ball, going to school, playing try to get into the school team, getting competitive at a young age, you know, 7, 8 year old, making sure that you get in the primary school team, getting competitive, loving it, having a passion for it, and really try to, even at that young age, all you wanted to be is being a professional footballer. They were your icons, you know, up there, and your Kenny Dalglish's and all these guys. And, you know, Pat Stanton's, all these, and these were your icons. You're saying, right, that's what I want to be. So school, even at that time, at a young age, you would go along to school, but it was football constantly. Yeah. Playing in the morning, playing at break, playing after school, and the playground was your football pitch.
Yeah, so you've mentioned your favourite players would be Kenny Dalglish and Pat Stanton. What team did you support? Would it be Hibs?
I support not when I was a young kid. I was a Celtic supporter. My dad was a massive Celtic supporter. So as a young kid growing up, I was Celtic. I used to go through and watch Celtic on the Leith supporters bus on a Saturday and went through there. That was Old Parkhead then. But then I was then playing juvenile football at the time. So it was for Hutchie Vale. And then my team, we used to play on a Sunday, but when you got to a certain age, I think it was 14, you know, and started playing on Saturdays, so could not get through to Parkhead. So I used to play on a Saturday and nip up to Easter Road, anything for football, and that's when my allegiance sort of changed towards Hibs.
Do you remember your first game at all, the first game you attended?
No, definitely no, but it wouldn't be paying, and we trust me on that. We all used to, we used to get up there, every who's going up to the match, and we all used to meet, and up we go, even midweek, up we go along the railway up in the back, and it was just a dookie up over the wall. Everybody used to sit on top of the wall because all the stewards and right go, and everybody just, and we all used to take off, and we all used to up the terracing, and we all used to meet under the floodlight down at the bottom right, you know, and everybody was in there and watch the games. Absolutely brilliant, great days, absolutely loved it.
It's funny how, I mean, even for myself, when you're talking about your memories, you get such a vivid image of what is going on. I remember my first Celtic game was a Roma friendly, and I was up in the top tier. It was the North Stand. The Droghstein stand was still being built, and I can remember it so vivid, just the same way that you were saying.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And as I say, we used to go into the old jungle way back, so great days, absolutely fantastic days. But then you're sort of saying, you're watching that and you're saying, I want a bit of this, even at a young age. You know, there's that, as I say, there's that passion in you to go and try and succeed. And it was probably every kid's dream growing up to be a professional footballer. And, you know, no matter where you're from, it's to play for the Old Firm. That's the pinnacle, the Old Firm. But as I say, later on, it was basically Hibs for me. And I thought it was going to happen. It was my first disappointment, actually. Nowadays it's all academies and great, I think they do a wonderful job, but in my day there was in Edinburgh, it was the juveniles, and it was absolutely fun. What a hunting ground for any skills. I'll talk about some of the players, Keith Wright, John Robertson, Darren Jackson, Paul Kane, myself, we all played juvenile football. We all played for the school, we all played against each other in the morning, and probably sometimes played with or against each other in the afternoons. My team was really Hutchie Vale, but some of the teams, and I'll go back, these guys that coach these teams 2 nights a week or 1 night a week and play on a Saturday or a Sunday, whenever, these guys are heroes. Many a time I had enough of it. And the crew that I jumped about with and all that, what you up to, you're always going football training, I'm packing it in, and these coaches would be doing it at my ma's door, listen, get him back, and my parents were desperate. Get him back playing football. These guys are heroes, done it for nothing. You know, absolutely brilliant. And Alan Docherty, a shout out Jimmy Dunn, 2 of the guys that I had at Hutchie Vale, you know, were massive in the part that we played, getting to where I got. So going back to that, you know, I was playing juvenile football, but I was in training at Hibs at the age of 14, 15, 2 nights a week, with guys like, as I say, all these guys. Gary Mackay, David Bowman, they were in training as well, but they were a year older. And you're sort of saying, right, come 15, 16, you're leaving school. And you're saying to yourself, I'm hoping to go professional. You're hoping that because you're in training 2 nights a week, they've got for shouting you, you're going to sign for Hibs. Never happened. You know, they're saying, no, we don't fancy you. And so that was my first disappointment. I'm saying, right, how to handle that? You know, at that young age, that adversity, you sort of say, how do I get over that? And it was my parents, you know, and the environment in which I grew up at. You know, a bit of banter going about, you know. And my whole family were into painting and decorating. And my mother was a real, she run the family. And she says, right, you've got to be a painter and decorator, you're going to get a trade behind you. That's right, so that was it. And my brother-in-law got me a start in his firm. And I was a painter and decorator for 4 years. And football could easily have fell away. You know, and what I'd done was then, nobody knows this, I signed, I bet you've not even got this in your notes, I signed for Arbroath.
I did.
Did you get that in your notes?
I had it there. There was a brief, you know, around about 16. 16,
I signed for Arbroath at the age, I was a first year painter and decorator, and I signed for Arbroath, me, off of Hutchie Vale, me, Brian Rendell, another big boy that played for Hutchie Vale. I'm trying to think who else, there was another couple of us signed for Arbroath. And on the last, Ian Stewart was the manager, brilliant, great bunch of boys, keep in touch with him now, still on the WhatsApp and all that stuff. Broke through into the first team, round about the bench, but I couldn't hack it.
Right.
Honestly, I couldn't hack it, being a painter and decorator, up early in the morning, away, doing all your, and try to meet up to get up to training. It wasn't always at Arbroath, to be fair, we were training, sometimes we could train in Edinburgh, one night a week it would be up at Perth, but all that stuff, and I just went, no, this is no for me. And I was grateful and thankful to Ian Stewart, realising that, you know, and he let me go. He gave me a free transfer and let me go. And I went back to my boys' club and played for Hutch Vale again. And then played there for another under 18s for another 2 seasons. Loved it, playing with all your mates. And you're sort of saying, is it pass me by? Is it pass me by? And then I got the chance to sign for Newton Grange Star.
Yeah.
And that was going into men's football, that was going into the juniors. The only thing about Newton Grange Star was the wore Ranger strips, which are my favourite colour.
Well, I suppose you need to sacrifice something if you're going to...
But it was brilliant. So it was men's football, you're playing against ex-senior pros that knew it, was real physical. And it suited me, and that's where the penny really dropped. By that time I was 18, 19, just about finished my trade as a painter and decorator. Really learning the ropes 2 nights a week, really seeing the skills. One of my favourite players at Easter Road at the time was Alec Cropley. You know, he'd come back and I had got a trial. Even then, I'd went back for a trial.
Right.
A guy called Jimmy Thompson, and the reason I mention Jimmy Thompson is because he comes into it later on. Jimmy Thompson used to be the manager of Alloa, Hud's great success at Alloa, but was then in coaching at Hibs. He was a doker beside my old man. And I always, how's your laddie doing? He said, he's playing juniors. He says, I've got to look at him and get him in. And he did, he got to look at me and got me in on trial. And it just so happened when I went on trial, we played Bonnyrigg Rose in a friendly match at Easter Road. I was playing midfield at the time, playing that sort of junior, getting stuck in. And Jimmy Thompson took me off at half time. He says, sit next to me and watch. And he put Alec Cropley on. Mm-hmm. And Alec Cropley went on, honestly, and I've just never got caught on the ball. He was just unbelievable. He was unbelievable. And his brother, Tam Cropley, was my coach at Newton Grange Star. So it just shows you how, and just, you know, all these guys, and just seeing that, never got taken on. And just sort of quite happy playing away, junior, picking up a few quid, basically drinking money. The social life was fantastic. Kicked lumps with each other. You're talking about Bonnyrigg, Arniston, all the mining villages had teams. And you would all meet, all the Edinburgh boys would meet, that's with Newton Grange, but it was all the same meeting place for Bonnyrigg. Hughes playing the day had it, or we would be playing. I mean, you would kick lumps with each other, you would shake hands after the game, you would meet in the Toon, somewhere like this, and have a couple of beers, and that was it. It was a great social life, really enjoyed it. Met some great people, great characters. But that was my sort of grounding for real men's football and how it was going to go on. And then, as I say, Jimmy Thompson got the job at Berwick Rangers. Yeah. And said, I'm going to sign him for Berwick Rangers. By that time, I was doing really well at the juniors. Well, I was in a good, successful junior team. Laurie Dunn was the manager. It was Rob Curry that signed me. And then Laurie Dunn took over. And we were a good team. We got to the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Peters Hill beat us, all that stuff. So I was still playing in midfield and getting stuck in. But then sort of realising when you're starting to play with guys, senior pros, guys like Bobby Flavo and all these guys, you know, another guy that played for Hibs, great striker of the ball, you're saying, and Cropley used to come down Alec. And you're saying, these guys never go into a tackle, they just pop it round about, and you're sort of saying to yourself, you're asking all the questions. And they're privy, they want to educate you as well. And that was it, it was absolutely fantastic, loved it. And then, as I say, Jimmy Thompson got the job at Berwick Rangers and went to sign me. It wasn't, I had the chance, Berwick Rangers were in the second division in the Scottish Cup, the Scottish League, sorry.
Yeah, was that an easy decision to make?
No, because East Fife come in for me and they were in the first division, and I had a decision to make. And some, you know, that gut feeling, not just intuition, that gut feeling, that's something I've leaned on heavily throughout my career.
Do you wonder if that's maybe due to the connections that you had, maybe with Jimmy Thompson?
Possibly,
or anything like that?
possibly. My old man never pushed me. My old man was a great footballer. My old man's claim to fame was he never got sent off in his life. I got sent off every second week, so he used to say, you must have got that off your ma. You know, but my old man, everybody I meet that seen my old man play says you would never be as good as is your fairer. Natural left foot, right foot, inside forward. Got a trial for the great Dundee team a way back with your Galzines and all the really, really good footballer. But even when I played juvenile, I played centre. Eventually, I sort of went back and started playing centre half. I played with a guy called Stuart McCall. But Kevin McCall, sorry. But Kevin McCall. And Big Kevin McCall was a sort of, never missed a header. And you're sort of saying, how does he do that? Never missed a header. And you're sort of saying, Link Cropley showing you round the corners and all that, and you're sort of saying, I'm no position, I'm a footballer. And then when you went back there, you're saying, and it sort of stuck, you're saying, see, when I go back there, I'm going to be like him. And he's passing it on, just sort of lean on them, get in, and you're picking up all the arts and all the dark stuff and all the tricks. And as I said, so anyway, it was a header, and I went to Berwick Rangers, and it was Jimmy Thompson. I tore my calf muscle, and I was still sort of midfield at the time. I tore my calf muscle, and I never played for Jimmy Thompson. And Jimmy Thompson got the sack, and then come Jim Jeffries and Bully Brown. But me being me and being that sort of socialist, sort of that one for all and all for one kind of guy, and being loyal to Jimmy Thompson, I sort of says, listen, I didn't want to be here. And I felt it was, and to be fair, Jim Jeffries, right, fine, we'll see if we can get you back to Newton Green Star. And he says, no, the deal's done, and that was it. So we never got off to a great start, although we never fell out. I was still injured at the time, and it was just a case of getting back fit. But Jim Jeffries had a great ally in Bully Brown. And Bully Brown knew me through the juniors. He was at Musselburgh, knew me through the juniors. And after a couple of weeks and trying to get back fit, me and Bully knocked it off. And then you could recognise how good a manager Jim Jeffries was. And you could see him changing just when we would go down on a Saturday morning and go out and train and work on set pieces, and there would be a wee bowl of soup and just wee professional things, what we was trying to do. We trained doing it at Musselburgh or the Edinburgh guys, so it wasn't bad. That helped me being a paint and decorator still. I could still get down to training, never missed it. And then some of the players that he signed, and one of my other heroes, Ralph Callaghan. I seen him play for Hibs, him and Jackie McNamara and all that. And to be playing with all these guys, doing it at Berwick Rangers, you're sort of saying, right, okay. Lindsay Muir, and I'm mentioning names, and you're sort of saying, you make sure you mention a lot of them. But even now, my best mate in football, a boy called Neil Oliver, I met doing it at Berwick Rangers. He was a local boy doing there at Berwick Rangers, Ollie. And we all played in the same team at Berwick Rangers, and that was it, sort of taking off and being sort of professional. And that's when it hit home, I'm going to get really fit. And I went into my fitness. I really went for my fitness in terms of bodybuilding, getting power, looking into it, analyse it, how do you get quicker, how do you get stronger, going into the squatting or the deadlifting. I had a wee mate, it was a real bodybuilder, he's now the kit man at Livingston. And me and him trained together and we guided, but I was always wanting that carry over onto the pitch. How do I get explosive, how do I get quicker, how do I get a better leap, counter movement, jumping and all that. And that's when it really started, my body weight, how do I, and all the power, and I could see it, all the boys could see it. What you doing? And I was on the bike all the time. So I was working around Edinburgh, cycling to work, cycling home, cycling down to training, cycling home, all the bike. And
do you think you had that drive? Because although 23, 24 is no age at all, but it was a bit of a late bloom in terms of getting into the SPFL, the 42 clubs.
I always fancied that, always in pre-season training, we always played against the senior teams, and I always fancied my chances. But it's like anything else, you need a little bit of luck and a little bit of a break, and people that believe in you. And there's no two guys, I couldn't say honestly, that believed in anybody more than me than Bully Brown and Jim Jeffries. And Jim Jeffries was a great manager, he was fantastic. But see, when he knew that what you gave him, you were in.
And it just shows you, it's funny, like, what if your stubbornness prevailed that day when you were
Right.
like, I'm not doing this, I'm not
Right.
doing this.
And usually it does. Usually it does, and sometimes it's let me down in the past where that stubbornness and that it's not so much stubbornness. It's a bit about more being your values. If it's no, everybody will say, I don't do the dance, Sean, I'm useless. I'm absolutely useless. I'm sitting here talking to you and it'll go out there and folk will listen and say, I'm useless at doing the dance. I'm useless at networking and social media.
I find social media really difficult as well. I mean, I'm going into my late 30s now, so I was kind of on the cusp of when everything was turning into social media, and it's like a short window. Everybody's going.
I totally understand that, and I get it.
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be the be and end all with how people see things. You know what I mean? And I totally get it. Get it out there, and everybody says you should get it out here and get yourself out there. And but it's just, it doesn't lie with me. I'm useless, absolutely useless at doing the dance. And that goes back to, is it stubborn? Is it pride? Is it your upbringing? Is it us? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
If it's just your natural being to.
Well, do you want to know something? I'm going to tell you something. I've been blessed for where I've come from, my upbringing and laughs, and nobody will take away. I would give, if somebody says to me, there you are, millions, tomorrow, I would say, but you have to give up your upbringing and all the laughs and the characters and the time that you've had, you would have to give all that back. Yeah. Keep your millions. Because the laughs and the people that I've met, and that's what life's all about. Don't take yourself, and I like being John Hughes, I like being Yogi. Yeah. I don't take myself too serious until it comes to football. Yeah. And people have said that, wow, you can see the eyes getting switched on when it comes to football. But I love having a bit of banter. I love meeting people. I love, I laugh at myself. I'll take the mickey out myself, and all that stuff. And I think that's what life's all about, and that's sort of me. Do I have to sort of change to get back into football? Aye, but surely what you've done, and people have to look at it and do your due diligence and look and say, by the way, look what that guy's done, and I'm proud of what I've done.
Absolutely.
But I don't shout for the rooftops, and people say you should. Nah, that's not my style. That's not my style. So anyway, going back to it, we went off the track there. But as I say, going back to that, I enjoy being John Hughes, I enjoy being Yogi, I enjoy having a laugh, who I am, the character I am. Always just wanted to be a footballer, blessed to be that, to do it, and be authentic, be yourself. Absolutely. Because I see so many people not being themselves, and I'm going.
I mean, when I had reached out to you to ask if you would come on and just have a chat with me, I was so excited when you were like, oh, absolutely, no bother. Aye. Because you as a person, I mean, when I was growing up, you were playing for Celtic, you know how that is. So
I think people can relate to it, can't they?
Absolutely.
That working class guy that done well, it's still, feet firmly on the ground, never get carried away, will stand up and fight his corner, got something to say, I'll say it. And I don't know if that alone, having that strong character and personality, a lot of people are scared of that, but anybody, you ask any player that's worked with me, 95% of the players that will work with me in terms of when I went into the coaching or when I played for their team, they're all saying, absolutely fantastic to be around about in that dressing room. And that's what I see with other people. With the boy Neil Oliver that was telling you, quiet boy for Doon and Berwick upon Tweed, the funniest guy I've ever met, so dry, sense of humour. So anyway, going back to the football, we were all playing for Berwick Rangers and Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown, and then he sold me to Swansea.
I know. I don't want you to get too big for your boots just now, but you scored double figures as a striker for Berwick Rangers, didn't you?
Well, it was a funny story because I come back and I got back in the team and I was playing, still playing in midfield, and we still weren't doing, we were bottom of the league, and I think that Jim was looking for anything, and he come in one day as Jim does. Jim used to come and say, I've got a hunch, and it always worked. Right. Even when I worked with Mick Falkirk, I've got a hunch. And it would maybe something like somebody that's not playing, but we're playing against that player that's not playing, his old team, and he would play him and he would score the winning goal. And you go, how does he do that? How does he do that? He was... And he said, I've got a hunch, I'm going to play you centre forward. And I went, oh. And I says, right, and we went 22 games unbeaten. I was never a prolific goal scorer. I was more of a hold-up, battering ram, letting the centre-halves know they were in the game. But Ralph Callaghan used to say, listen, I'm going to get the ball, play it around the corner, you hold it up. And he would say, listen, I'm going to go to the toilet the time I come back. I would say, yeah, you're not getting that. There you go, Ralph, there's it back. And he would come and play. And it was just wee things like that. Anything come in the box, I'd go attack. Anything, goalkeeper, I would make sure. And I'd put my head in. But I was never a centre forward. But 22 games unbeaten, scored a few goals.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. But I got a wee bit of trouble. All the boys that I jumped about with Doon about Leaf, we were all used to, after my game, we'd have a few beers and always back to Leaf having a few beers and all that. And they say, right, we're coming down to watch you at Berwick. What the plan is, we're going to come down with the bus, come down, watch a game. After the game, we're going out in Berwick into the disco. Bus comes back down and gets us later on at night and back up the road. I think so. I goes down, plays the game. We're off fully. All the boys are off fully. My old man was doing watch. My old man used to come all the time, and I played the game, went back, went up for a couple of beers. All the boys in, they're all battering in. My old man says, I didn't like this. You need to watch yourself. Didn't like. I said, I'll be all right. Came what I mean? He says, look at them. All the crazy boys for Son of Leaf. He says, look at them. No matter, an hour later, my old man said, right, that's me, him and his mate away back up the road. An hour later, it kicked off, didn't it? With all the locals, and it kicked off. 4 or 5 of us got arrested. So that was me up in court.
Did that give you a fright?
It gave me a right fright. I got fined, I think it was 200 quid. Nothing to be proud about. But where I got with one of your mates, it was you didn't walk away. That was it. We were all in. Come what I mean? But my old man says you need to watch who you're jumping about with, and you've got, if you want to have a career in football. Now you're on that ladder of being semi-professional. And Jim Jeffries, he come in, and Jim Jeffries, well, hold the handle it, and it was brilliant. He says, listen, there's a few clubs looking at you. He says, I think this is the right time to move you on. We're going to sell you down to Swansea City. So at that time, he sold me to Swansea City. Neil Oliver went to Blackburn Rovers, and a boy, Scott Sloan, went to Newcastle. Right. So that was me down to Swansea full time at 23-year-old, walking into Swansea City full time dressing room. Walked in the next game day, and the manager was Ian Evans that used to play for Crystal Palace, and he was Mick McCaffey's assistant manager at Ireland. Office. Walked in and had the newspapers with what happened up in Berwick and all that, and I just says to him, listen, says, you don't worry about me. I says, you'll never get any trouble out of me. I've just wanted this chance. And to be fair, he says, right, put that. But a dressing room, all the boys are winding it up and all that. And it was great. So it was doing at Swansea full time, 23, full time, really sort of full time training. It was, wow, here we go, playing with players like Alan Curtis, Robbie James, all the greats doing at Swansea. Chris Coleman, big cookie, played down there. And down there and finding your way. But I went down there as a centre forward. I was never a centre forward. Yeah. But I got lucky because he also signed Sky Walker and Paul Chalmers for St Mirren had won the Scottish Cup that year. So there was another 2 Scottish boys down there. But I loved it. Tommy Hutchison, Tommy Hutchison played for Man City, played for Scotland, the winger. Tommy Hutchison was assistant manager and coach. He took me under his wing, but in a hard way. Right. No in a way being soft, in a hard way. You're Scottish. Never let me home in the afternoons. You knew I stayed in a flat around the corner from the Vetch. My wife was always up the road, so I was down there. No point in going home. And he used to hug me in it. The kids used to take me back, fire a ball into the wall. I used to try and control it, turn, all this stuff. And even all the kids doing there, they would go into the gym and there would be 4 asides and you would get involved. You're saying, I'm miles behind. But that was going back to the Cropley. Sort of saying, always seems to have, and Ralph Callaghan and Bobby Flavels and all these guys, And it intrigued me how these guys never got caught on the ball, and just you could never get near them, and all the tackles, never got in a tackle, and you know, you're saying, and pass it how they passed it, and you're sort of saying, oh aye. But it was never a centre forward. And Alan Evans, he moved on, and then Terry Yorif come in. He was absolutely brilliant. You know, he was always at the wind-up, but it linked me, or you got the feeling it linked me. And I was starting to sort of get into it and all that stuff. But the players weren't daft in terms of technical. I was miles behind. You know, these guys have been doing it. They've went in full time since I was 16, and I was technically behind, but always working hard to try and get there. And you're sort of seeing, and there was a wee bit maybe that sort of, is it for me, is it, you know, and old man's, how you doing? You're sort of saying, you know, always doing England. It wasn't as Swansea as it is now. It was Swansea, the old vetch, you know, the prison. You drove in and the prison was right there. You know, and you would shout up to the boys, and
Were you waving your 200 quid fine at them?
I know that stuff, and you know, and all the bit. Well supported club, and you really got it. The feeling for it, and all the teams play. And I played in the derby match against Cardiff and scored a header on the back post. So you always get reminded for that. Absolutely fantastic, but. Once again, never a centre forward. Found it really difficult in terms of movement and all that stuff. And when you're doing there, you're playing against centre halves that are real physical centre halves, and I loved that side of it.
Yeah.
But there was wee bits and pieces that you're saying, how do these guys do it? So you were intrigued of saying, I need to become a better footballer, and that's what I was getting. I was getting that when I was at Swansea for Tommy Hutchison and training with the kids and seeing all these kids. So it was coming. Then, just so happens with a little bit of luck, Jim Jeffries moves to Falkirk, full-time at Falkirk, so that was him.
Yeah.
Well, it was George Deans that took over Berwick, and he bought into Falkirk, so Jim Jeffries was the manager at Berwick, wanted him at Falkirk, so he went into Falkirk. So the whisper was that he was trying to buy Paul Chalmers as a centre forward, so if I don't know even to this day if it was a ploy. And Paul Chalmers was saying, he was my mate, and saying, what was it like? I says, you'll love they two, they're absolutely brilliant and get the best at you, right, okay. And I just went in one day and Terry Yorif says to me, listen, we've accepted a bid from Falkirk. I says, you okay? And I just says, aye, fine. I just leaned over the table and shook his hand. He went, no, you need to go up and talk to him. I said, no, I says, I need to get back up the road. And I had a wee Suzuki van at the time, a wee flat top Suzuki van. Great, I loved it down in Swansea, I really did. Good people, the Welsh people. And we got everything in that van and drove in that Jeep and drove all the way up. Went into Falkirk, met Jim Jeffries, and that was it. Shook his hand and said that was it.
Why did you not have any second thoughts about leaving Swansea? Was it?
My wife wanted to get back up the road. She was a home bird. Wanted to get back up. She's a wee bit up there. She was never doing Swansea much. She enjoyed it when she was down, but really couldn't sort of really settle at that, young age. And then we still couldn't afford. She still had her work and all that stuff, and couldn't get. So it was all that stuff. So we're just sitting, that was it, getting back up the road, getting settled in. We still had our first flat that we bought together. We'd rented that out, we were clever enough to rent that out. And we sort of got back in there, and that was us. So full time in Falkirk, but everybody thinks, oh well, I was a centre forward. I was a boo boy when I went into Celtic. When I went into Falkirk, because I was never a centre forward. And just one of these days, Jim Jeffries went, oh right, I'm going to play you centre half.
Did you find it difficult having that reception when you kind of knew yourself that you were struggling up front? Listen,
I was probably a manager's dream in terms of effort and commitment and being a character in the dressing room and never giving up and, into my fitness and all that stuff. And I was right into all that stuff, even doing Swansea, even at night, right, times dinner, I would go for a 20 minute run, and I was into all that and all that stuff, and I always sort of try to do the gym and
work ethic.
Real work ethic. 100%. And my old man saying, well, if you've got that chance to go full time, give it everything that you've got. And I did that. So I was still doing all that, and I was never, as I say, a prolific goal scorer. And then, you know, I sort of moved back into midfield at Falkirk and still doing all right, still getting stuck in. And then when it went back to centre half, it was like, wow, right, okay. And I'd played right back in centre half coming through, as you do as a kid. You play all over the place anywhere in a game. Yeah. And I went back to centre half, and I just went, wow, who turned the lights on? The game was in front of me. I was at an age where I had all that experience. I had been playing men's football, had all that senior experience, playing with all that, seeing all that. Wow. Right, who turned the light on? I said, right, this is for me. And then it just went, it just took off. Playing centre half and, you know, going back to what I says to you in juniors with Kevin McCall, never missing a header and all that stuff. And then I was really intrigued, you know, being full-time in Falkirk. Falkirk, can you remember Old Brockville?
Unfortunately, I had just missed it.
But you're grateful. It was the biggest midden in Scottish football. Honestly, the goalie.
It's not that everybody talks so fondly of it.
Well, wait till you hear what I talk about.
Right.
The goalie could kick it from box to box, right? It was small. The fans were right on top of you. It was all wooden stand. Everything else was all standing behind the Hope Street. It was the best stadium in the world. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. It was just perfect for us and what we wanted to do, and the players that Jim brought to the club, and it was just perfect. They had an old AstroTurf out the back that we trained on. It was like that. It was like concrete. We loved it. We were slide tackling. We were everything. It was jumpers for goal posts. We were in it. It was the goals on top. Where we training down here. We were on. One of the players would drive the minibus. Stop at the traffic lights. Jim and Bully would be in the car behind going down to training. The minibus would be getting rocked. The back doors would be getting open. Somebody would be getting flung in it just with their jockeys on.
Wasn't it you, was it?
Eh?
Wasn't it you, was it?
Well, I could mention names. No, I never got flung out. We would have apprentices sitting on making sure that the goals never. Unbelievable. A big communal bath after it. Everybody piled in, all the soap in it, everything like that. But, the carry on. That's the best dressing room for spirit, camaraderie, character that I've been in. And the players that Jim brought to that club, how he'd done it, unbelievable. But once again, him and Bully, every Tuesday, they would be away doing south watching players. So you look at the players you're talking about. Joe McLaughlin used to captain Chelsea. We signed him for Watford. Tommy McQueen played for West Ham. We signed him for West Ham. Chipper Rice signed him for Notts Forest. Kevin McAllister signed him for Chelsea.
Yep.
Simon Stainrod, I think we signed him. He come from France, but played for QPR. Was going to sign for Barcelona. Terry Venables had him at QPR. I think he got capped for England. What a character he was. And then the guys that were there, like Peter Harrison, Sammy McGovern, Big Crawford back and that was my partner at the back, Big Crawford.
Gordon Marshall and Peter Houston were there when you first joined as
the Ginger God, who's doing Gordon Marshall, my great mate, because he was my travelling partner when I went to Celtic. It was absolutely brilliant, and you could see it evolving when Jim there, he had that in him that we're not happy to just be playing our football in that first division, and you could see the players and the demand he was bringing. You're saying, I want to be part of it. It was like ticking the box. I want to be part of it, and the characters.
Well, you won the first division your first season back there.
I think we did. I think we won it. I think we won it. Got relegated. Won it again. I think we won it twice or in my time there. But as I say, then as we sort of there, and I sort of got into it and become captain and become sort of a fan's favourite, playing that centre half, as you say, non-stop, loving the battle, no matter who you're playing, getting in the Premier League, playing against your Celtic and Rangers, no boring who you're playing against, saying they know they're in a game. And Jim Jeffries knowing that you're centre half, knowing that no matter who you're playing, he knows, he trusts you. And then learning the game, and as I say, all the players I mentioned, then you become captain and you're leading for the front, you're becoming a leader, all the leadership qualities as you had as a kid growing up in the Hughes scheme. You know what I mean? Nothing different. The do's and don'ts and the values that you got brought up with. And then you're leading for the front. Davy Weir, and then as I say, Davy Weir says in his book, I think he gave me a mention, probably the best captain. You know, which is, you sort of say where he's been and where he went on to do. You know, in Scotland and all that. But it was brilliant. Maurice Johnston. Maurice, absolutely. What a boy he is. And I know you've got Doon, I've been spying out your notes.
Well, it's a notable moment of
but that was what happened that day was it was a streak when I'd done past Maurice Johnston. It was just, I think you do it now, you'll get flung at the club. But just how society's changing, all that stuff. I used to travel through with Neil Oliver because Ollie, my mate, Jim signed him for Blackburn again, so we were 5 years together at Ian McCall. I used to get changed next to Ian McCall. I actually spoke to Collie the other day there. He's getting married this summer. I got to the wedding. Brilliant, absolutely funny boy. What a footballer he was. And all these boys, I hope I'm not missing anybody out, but that day Maurice Johnston, Big John Clark, you know, Big Clark had scored for Dundee United. Funniest guy. He was the best ball striker of a dead ball I've ever played with. He could hit it, honestly. He just went up, no backlash, boom. He could whip it, he could hit it.
That's quite a statement as well, considering some of the players that you have.
Oh, he was the best ball striker of a dead ball. He was unbelievable. Scored against Barcelona, mind, for Dundee United. What a footballer. Funny boy. But Clarkie, we all travelled together. Ollie, me, Clarkie, Maurice stayed in Edinburgh. So anyway, long story. Maurice was getting an interview on the halfway line. We were training at Brockville on the pitch. We were all stretching. And you know, someone just come. Next minute, start again. Somebody says, God, give a fiver a man. I say, a fiver a man. Don't need any encouragement. You know what I mean? All the gear off. All I had was my boots on, and all the players sort of surround me. So we're running past Maurice. He's on the halfway line. All the players just dispersed, and I just kept running. You know, morning. And the camera, to be fair, the camera followed me. Maurice, he just cracked up laughing and all that stuff. And all the next thing a minute, as you see, you're looking to get all the gears, had to go back in, all my gears all over the place, all that stuff.
It's funny because Maurice Johnson is known, for the career that he had, he's known for two things. Standing there with the Rangers shirt on and due ambition. So, considering what he's managed to achieve in his career, it's
unbelievable. Maurice, I can't speak highly. What a great teammate, what a great lad. What a trainer, what a football, what a trainer. Non-stop, couldn't have got him off the training pitch. Great in the air, brave, great finisher. And what he brought to Falkirk, you know, just even the team spirit and the laugh. He was always up to mischief, always up to something, always wanted a night out. Our night out, the Edinburgh boys, was a Tuesday night out, right? We're out on Tuesday night.
See you being a Celtic supporter, did you ever question Maurice Johnson? Were you ever curious? Or?
Never. Used to slaughter him. You know what I mean? He just used to laugh. But I think Maurice had it all planned out. He was always got to go to America. He had it all planned out. And the same happened with John Collins. John's a mate of mine now. John was telling me a story there when he Celtic were in for him with Billy McNeil, and then Graham Souness was trying to sign me. He went down to Ibrox to talk to Rangers, but then come back and signed for Celtic. I think John was trying to get a better deal, and he did. And it's just one of these things. But no, I always slaughtered him about it, and then, but brilliant. And then done the streak and all that. I was sitting in a house at night, sitting eating my dinner and all that, and the wife's sitting on the wife, and the news comes on and sitting eating all that, and she goes, "You effing idiot." She says, "Well, what?" Looks up and goes, "Oh, jeez." She says, "What do you got for you there to play football?" And I just started shooting. So they've showed it at night, and even then they showed it on all the programmes, you know, It'll Be Alright on the night and all that stuff. And if you look back at it, for all your listeners, if you look at it, go and look it up at YouTube. If you look at it, when you see me running past Maurice, you'll see me tripping over someone. I keep tripping over someone.
It wasn't that. We know it wasn't that.
But that was it. That was the team spirit we had at Falkirk at the time. And we had great days. Absolutely fantastic days. And some of the players, and that was the best dressing room. You could not turn your back for a moment. And it honestly couldn't have turned back your back for a moment. And we had great success. We really had great success. And then Jim, I was out of contract. Jim and Bully were leaving for Hearts, or they weren't leaving for Hearts. They were going to go then. So I was in limbo. And then Jim and Bully eventually went to Hearts, and he made contact, knowing that I was out of contract. Do you fancy Hearts? Me being for the other side of the city, no. But I was then talking to Falkirk, and it just so happens, do you ever question Maurice Johnston? No, because he was a great teammate and a real guy. And his agent at the time was Bill McMurdo. So I got in tow with Bill McMurdo because he's seen I was doing all right. Bill being an agent says, listen, I find. And then I was in talking with Bill, talking to Falkirk to extend the contract, but also looking to see what was out there. And this is how it happens. I was actually in at Falkirk talking to the chairman, George Fulston, and he was sort of saying, right, if you do this in this kind of contract, you've been here for 4, 5, 6 years, we can do it 5 years, we can do this, and at the end of it and all that. So me and Bill walked out, and there was a car park up the top at Falkirk where the sort of porter cabins were the offices. We were sitting, and the phone went, and Bill picked the phone up and went, aye, how you doing? Aye, oh, aye, no bother, Tommy. Aye, I'm with a lad now. He says, I put him on. He says, Tommy Burns. So it's a Glasgow accent there, and I'm going, oh, aye. Aye, how would you like to come for Glasgow Celtic? I'm saying, piss off, Maurice. I think Maurice Johnston. And I looks at Bill, I said, piss off, Maurice. I looks at Bill, Bill's gone. I goes, oh, Jesus Christ. I says, I no bother, I'd love to come and sing for Celtic. I thought that, right, and put Bill back on. Don't forget, 2 years or a year previous, Tommy played for Kilmarnock.
Yep, that's right.
And I played against him with Falkirk, so he's sort of seen it firsthand. I think one time I played in midfield and tried to do a job on him, couldn't get near him. It's back onto the cropper round the corner. You know, your team's gone forward, you're running forward to try and score a goal, and he's cheating. So when it breaks down, the ball goes to him, and you've got 20 yards to catch up, and he's just so. And so and he'd probably seen what I had, and it was him and Billy Stark. So, right, he says to Bill, right, okay, right, we'll do it now. Come and meet. Bill stayed in Uddingston, Rangers country, eh? So Bill says to me, you've got one phone call. I said, right, I'll phone my missus. I said, phone my missus. Listen, I said, I've got a chance. She says, are you serious? I says, aye. She says, go and get my old man. Tell my old man. I said, but don't tell anything. I don't want anything, anybody to know and fall through. The year before, there was rumours I was going to sign for Celtic. We're actually playing for Celtic. I think they beat us 5-4. We had them.
Yep, that's right.
I broke my ankle. I went in for a tackle on me with JC, and my ankle got, and my whole weight come over and I snapped it. That was me out for the season. So for the next year for it to happen, you're sort of saying a wee bit lady luck. Anyway, so we're gone. So I phoned my old man. She says, right, she went down to get him. He's in the boozer. He's on the tap in the boozer on the book. No money. He doesn't get paid till the Friday. She says, listen, he says, Hughes got to meet Celtic. Oh, he went back in. Right, everybody a pint with me. My lad, he's got to sign for Celtic. She's like, keep it quiet. So anyway, so me and Bill, we gets to Bill House. Honestly, it was like walking into Mini Ibrox. I'm serious, honestly. You walked in, it was the big, massive Rangers rug crest. As soon as you walk in, red, white and blue, all the stuff. I'm saying, oh, Bill, come on.
Was it the marble staircase?
Aye, all the stuff.
The
Big, honestly, everything was Rangers. Bill being a big Rangers man. I went, oh, dear we go, Jesus. I said, come on, Bill, give us a break. No. He says, wait, this. He got out the mugs, 2 Rangers mugs. Next thing a minute, ding, ding, in come TB and Billy Stark. And he's giving him a cup of tea, and Tommy's just laughing. He says, right, that was it. They went and done the deal, come out, he says, that's it, deal's done. They were opening a new stand. Next again day, I was to go through in the morning, do my medical, done that. Brian Scott was the physio, another great character. Passed my medical. And you know, Fergus didn't know Tommy was signing me. Fergus didn't know. Tommy just went, I'm doing that, and went and done it. Take the chances on a tribunal. I think it went 380 grand eventually on the tribunal. And then Rod Stewart was coming in to open the stand. So I was just sitting about like a plum, you know what I mean? Just right, waiting on the game starting and all that. No. And then Bill says, come to the airport, we'll meet Rod Stewart coming in. He was bringing him in. Rod was his, wee Bill was doing his agent and all.
Right.
So in come the jet, Rod Stewart come down, this is Yogi Hughes just signed for Celtic. Rod says, wish you all the best, you know. And even now, I wish I knew his connections that he had with Leaf, with his granddad, and I've heard that he's been back doing and vetted some of the boozers and all that, because, you know, I never got that chance being a Leafer. I never knew that at the time. He just says, wish you all the best, I wish it was me. They all jumped in the limo, full up. And the boy that was taking all the photos, he says, come on, I'll take you back to Park. He jumped in with a snapper, went back, watched the game, went in on Monday, trained, and we played Liverpool on the Monday night.
Are you looking for live entertainment for your event, wedding, function? Then look no further than Judy and the Jaywalkers. Judy and the Jaywalkers are a female-fronted 4-piece band based in the central belt of Scotland, regularly playing in Glasgow and Edinburgh. They cover a wide variety of music, from 50s rock all the way up to present-day Taylor Swift and everything in between, including 60s soul, 70s disco, 80s ballads, and my personal favourite, 90s cheese. You can catch their live videos on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, as well as upcoming dates. Now, back to the podcast.
And that was me signed, played Liverpool. Not a nerve in my body playing Liverpool. Not a nerve, you know, Rushy, Fowler, all these guys. Not a nerve in my body. Went out there and saying, and that was my last time. Oh, man was in bad health at the time. My older brother brought him through, and that was my last time he seen me play, playing against Liverpool. We drew 0-0.
That must be really special for you.
It was unbelievable. It was what a rise, because, as you say, and going for Falkirk, and there was a chance, I knew there was a few clubs sniffing, a few English clubs and all that, and it was, you know, had Jim Jeffries in at Hearts, and you're sort of saying, you're always sort of saying, where's Hibs? And it was every summer we playing with Falkirk. We used to go back to Easter Road and batter them. I was the captain. I'm saying, listen, I'm not getting beat off this mob. Do you know what I mean? I'm making sure we win. We used to batter them every time we played Hibs. So and Alec Miller was the manager, and I don't think Alec Miller fancied that sort of character, that you know, with that sort of reputation. Where Jim Jeffries loved it and nurtured it, and could understand it. That just let me be myself, and I'll give you everything that I've got. And all that stuff, and I've met Alec Miller later on, and he sort of said, I should have signed you, you know what I mean, and got to know him, and because you knew you're saying, but it's people's perception of you. I played with my heart on my sleeve, put my head in, you know, I'd go have a fight, and if my teammate was in a fight, I would try and sort it out, and all that stuff, and you know, and that was it, and maybe that trouble doing at Swansea, maybe some of that stuff, and getting sent off, but fine, but that's so far removed from the person I am. But yet people still want to believe that. But anyway, so that was it. And Jim Jeffries, as I say, you get to the guys that really sort of, and Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown were absolute, no, can't repair them. It was him that gave me my start. Then, as you say, moving on to Celtic, so with TB, and then you go in there playing against Liverpool, it was unbelievable. It was, honestly, it was just like, wow. And then something happened in the game that you sort of say, oh, aye. It was, we were pushing high, and all the grass was behind McManaman, and got played in and had all the grass, and he knocked it to go. And I just stuck my arm out and clotheslined him. Just bump, take that, bump. They're going nowhere. And the place erupted. Took the booking, and the place erupted and went, oh, aye, we know what we're getting with this guy. But don't forget, when we played against Celtic with Falkirk, you know, they knew, the Celtic supporters are no daft, they knew. But there's something about Celtic, if you're no, you know, they want the big money by.
I was going to mention
and you had to win them over.
Yeah,
and I'd done that, and that one, because it was heart on the sleeve stuff. Never let myself down when I went with Celtic. Never let myself down with the way I trained. But let me tell you this, it was everything I was looking for. It was another step up, and it was working with Pep Guardiola in the day, Tommy Burns. He had so much a profound effect on me. It was unbelievable. He's no long retired. He could go on the training pitch. He was the best player on the training pitch. The players that we had at the club, don't forget, you're talking about DeCanio, Van Hooijdonk, Toms, McStays, JC, Collins, all these guys. Unbelievable. And it was then that you're saying, TB, just the wee bits, always in your ear. always in your ear, listen, you're not a footballer, you're not a centre-half, you're not a defender, you're a footballer. What do you mean by that? You're a footballer. You don't have to always wear your heart on your sleeve. You get stuck in, put your head on. You win your headers, but you don't always have to go toe-to-toe. You can nip in front, you can play around them. And I'm going, wow, you're a footballer. Just because you're a centre-half or a defender, and you're going, light bulb moment. All these guys, Ralph Callaghan, all these guys, Pat Stanton, all these guys, seeing it on the first hand, then try to implement it, just because it was a whole different thing. You know, the ball's coming, you're taking the touch, your head's still down, somebody's getting a tackle, the gaffer's on, yogi. I used to go home with Big Marsh, I says, I think I'm the only name that Tommy Munns knows. And he just used to start laughing. He says, trust me, all he's doing is knocking you into the standard that he's wanting for Celtic. So when the ball's coming, it's not taking a touch. Your head's up, that touch is there. So I'm using the next guy just to, instead of me touching it and looking up, I'm bouncing it and looking. So it's coming there, bouncing it, looking. And it's just keeping the ball moving, and you're just going, playing around the corner, you're a centre-half, keys it here, and implementing it in every day, seeing. And I got lucky because I was at an age at 31 where I've got it, I can grasp it, I've got the concept, I can grasp it, right, I'm going to try and become a better footballer. It was brilliant, I absolutely loved it. I can remember we played Aberdeen, Tommy wore the big green overcoat, remember the big green overcoat, and he was absolutely brilliant. Had his moments, by the way, wasn't he? You know what I mean? And we played Aberdeen, I think they were beating us 2-0. And I looked back and the camera went on him in the dugout, and he was just like that. We beat them 3-2. Total football. I think JC scored one with the outside of his boot for about 25 yards out, right in the top corner, outside of the left, beat them 3-2. And you're saying, this is total football. There's more ways to skin a cat. And my dad was always like that, right? And and that was it all coming together. You're going, oh, got it. And then I just become a better footballer. But every day, even in the rondos, I was the fittest guy at the club. I was never out the middle. Young v old, you're talking about Jackie McNamara, Brian McLaughlin, Simon Donnelly. You're talking about nutmeg kings. You know what I mean? Nuts. Couldn't get my hands on you. You're nuts. Then, but you're sort of saying it's all part of the progress. And then with young v old, it would never stop until TB's team won and we were there for hours. It was harder in the game on a Saturday. Honestly, it was harder in the game on a Saturday. And the other thing I'll say about going into Celtic is there was Frank Connor was on the coaching staff. Frank had that aura about him, you know, that if you went in unshaven, you would hide. Because if Frank seen you, hey, you're representing Glasgow Celtic. You know, everything was, and all that stuff. That was his part of your play. And he took to me a wee bit, and you didn't want to let him down. And even Billy Stark, you know, and Tommy Burns, he would probably be doing the same to everybody. I got a deal with an old Ford Sierra gear. I have to get in there for a mate of mine that owned a garage, and I gave him the 2 complimentary tickets. And you could hear it coming for a mile away. Me and Big Marsh used to drive in. Jackie used to be with us. Jackie got common sense. He took off. You could hear us coming. Tommy Burns would be like, never change that car. Right. Keep you grounded. Because he hated seeing all the big, keep you grounded. Never you, keep you grounded. Grounded. And just all the wee bits and pieces. Listen, you'll never be able to do what Decano can do. He can't do. That's why I have to build a team. And all that stuff. And I can remember even a time I got the ball and passing it across the back, taking it for Boydie, firing it out to Jackie. Jackie standing waiting on it. It's a bit behind him. Biggest roaster I ever got. You're going to pass the ball, you get him on the front foot. And everybody takes it. All these guys, all these amateurs guys, you take that for. The best players in the world do it simple. They do it regular, do it every time. And they just do it, there you go, don't break your stride. You watch Manchester City, there you go, don't break your stride. And no matter if it's 2 yards, 20 yards, there you go, don't break your stride. Gee, it's safe side. Yeah. And it was all that stuff that I got at Celtic. And then putting the hoops on, it was unbelievable. I can remember playing Falkirk, because Falkirk and my mate Ollie, and I'm standing in the tunnel, and I've got the hoops on and the white and the hoops and all that. He says, I come down the tunnel, you're looking for that wee bit of, you know, just to get that. He says you've got the blinkers on. He says the eyes are glazed. He says the veins are coming out your neck. You've got the hoops on. He says it makes you look twice the size you are. He says you're looking colossal. He says, and I've just went. He says beat in the tunnel, and that's what the hoops do. Mm-hmm. I'm not just patronising or saying that. That's what I felt.
Yeah.
And you felt you were in a team that you've got to do it right, and you got well looked after, and all they wanted was plenty back. And then, as you say, you gear them that. Some of the players, some of the characters. You know, there was a gym instructor in there, but you know, everybody. There was that bigger competition for players that you had to get in early to get your space in the gym, to get your mat, do your sit-ups, speed balls, dips, pull-ups, all that stuff. And then, you know, after training in there, absolutely brilliant, absolutely loved it.
Were you in your element with that, considering you were...
I was right in it all, dude.
You were in...
Everything. I don't know if people had been there for a long time, took it for granted. I was like a sponge, writing it all down. How's this done? What's that done? What's your passes? Where's your passes? And then try to evolve myself, because I know I was going to go into coaching and looking at it and going like, right, okay, what's this, right, what's your passes there? Even just shadow work, coming down on the ball against no opposition, but you're coming here and you're firing it in the air, and you're sort of saying, I'm getting all that, I get it, and I absolutely loved it. And Tommy probably turned me into a more cultured footballer. So much so when you come out of Celtic and you move on and go back to Hibs, and you meet guys like Billy Brown and Jim Jeffries and all these guys say, when did you become a footballer? You know what I mean? Well, I've still got that heart on the sleeve getting stuck in, but I've learned there's more ways to skin a cat.
There was something I was going to mention that you had brought up earlier on, and it was the fact of trying to win them over, being homegrown talent. It's more often than not players come in from abroad and they're straight
or
into,
a big money buy,
and they're straight into the team. You came in at the same time as Andreas Tom. It was only a couple of days between the two of you. Do you think that's something that's missing from Scottish football now, in terms of like homegrown talent being able to make that next step? Because I'm thinking of the times of Gordon Strachan was probably the most prominent that I can remember for in recent terms of Celtic. Paul Hartley, Barry Robson coming in.
Aye.
Scott
They're
McDonald,
definitely there. Domestically, they're definitely there. But I think even Tommy recognised that. I'll give you an example. When we played PSG, they went on to win the Cup Winners' Cup that year.
Right, yeah.
We were well behind them. We got a 1-0 defeat in Paris. We were in with a chance. They were too good for us.
How was your first experience of European football?
Magnificent. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. That was like, as I say, it was like, give me everything I've got. But there's always laughs and jokes. We played Batumi. I think Georgian. We went over there and it was war torn and all that, so it wasn't great and all that. And I was carrying a knock and the hotel wasn't great. And Scotty being Scotty, I was coming for treatment. I need to get your treatment. And I was going in for treatment. He's saying he's doing all this and he's got the ultrasound on and all that. There for half an hour. How's that feel? Aye, great. Wasn't it until I was going, you've not even got it plugged in, Scotty. You've not got the... Scotty said, Placido, okay, you'll be all right. But he knew your character, didn't he? He knew your character. I'm playing anyway. You know, a real top-class physio, and just the banter, and even eating the meals. And, you know, everybody's sitting down over a bit a long table. The Cano would be under the table. What's that? He'd be crawling away under the table and jumping out at Frank Connor had Frank, I'll kill you, Decano, and just the banter. Absolutely. And even Decano, even way back then, 96, you know, all the young guys today, they're all buff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Buff. He was away back then, and the gear and the cut of his clothes, and you're looking at him saying, I'm not too sure about this guy, Decano. What a character he was. And I'll say this, all these guys, Paolo loved it. A great trainer and all that. But in all these guys, the higher you go up, the more humble they are, and they'll help you. In football, I've went down and coached, and I've went down and I've went like that. These guys, they all think they're football. These guys are up there, done it. They're humble. They're grateful and thankful. The ones that's what I've found.
Right.
You know, not them all. But you're.
Do you think it's a generational thing as well?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But that was absolutely fantastic. As you say, that PSG team was just they were too good. Some of the players that they had in it.
With York up front.
Well,
Paul Le Guin, who was...
and I played against a boy,
Patrice Loco, and he's probably the sharpest striker I played against in terms of movement.
Right.
Never, you were always looking for him. Never played in front, always on the shoulder, rapid, quick, just looking to get played in.
Yep.
Every time you're looking for him, never there. The most physical ones I've played against, probably Mark Hateley, Viduka, for the physical fight, all that stuff. The best player I probably played against, Gascoigne, unbelievable, Gascoigne. And you need to take your hat off to it. What a player he was. And probably technically the best player I've ever played with is Russell Latapi. Latapi was
everybody praises him.
Technically unbelievable. Everything, what he could do with his right foot, he could do the same with his left foot. Couldn't get the ball off him. He had tricks, nutmegs, he's this, vision, passing, all that stuff. The thing about Russell, where he enjoyed life and liked a fag, liked a couple of beers and all that stuff, and you went, oh Jesus. And I played with Russell at Hibs, looked after him at Hibs. And then when I went into coaching and management, he come me into coaching and management. Technically unbelievable, but he fell out with Big Alec because we were the Scottish Cup, and he had went on, he'd had a night out. So him and Alec, and then Russell got his move to Rangers.
Right.
What happened? Alec left Hibs to go to Rangers, Russell. So then I think he moved to Dundee United. Never quite worked for him. So he was in limbo by the time I went into coaching.
Right.
And that's when I got him, knowing him for Hibs. But absolutely. So Celtic, and I was never going to leave, but you could sort of see it. Brian O'Neill was coming back for injury. He had done his knee. He signed Big Stubbsy. I had sort of signed me to take over for Big Mogga, for Tony.
Yep.
And then you're sort of saying, and you're seeing it, and you're saying, never once pushed me out. Many a time he says, listen, clubs, what do you think? A few clubs come in, and he was always keeping you in, keep this, that, keep training hard, all that stuff. And then he called me in the office one day, he says, I think you want this one. I says, aye, what is it? He says, Jockey Scott at Hibs. And it was the same. I said, Gaffer, listen. And it was the same. I said, listen, thanks very much. I says, I think I'll be taking that one. I said, I want to play football. Never been in it for the money.
Aye.
Never been
just
in
for
it.
The pure
Football,
joy
no, just been in it for the love of the game and loving it. Don't forget, as you say, all these guys I mentioned, Juvenile getting a career. Me coming into it late and sort of try to get there and fight, end up playing against them and try to, make a living out of it.
When you think that it's only a short period of time, that's 7-8 years you were playing junior football and then playing for Celtic. There's a couple of points I want to mention about Celtic before we move on. The 95-96 season, Celtic only lost one game and still didn't manage to win the league. I think there was 11 draws in there.
But that was Rangers were that good. You're talking about Lildrop, Gascoigne, Goffey, Gorham, all these guys, John Brown, all these guys. They were a right good. Stuart McCall, all these guys. We were a better football team.
Do you think that...
but they had our number.
Yeah, I don't know if regret's the right word for that, but is that something you look back and go, what if it just wasn't... It was the draws.
The draw. I scored at Ibrox. I scored that goal at Ibrox, St Patrick's Day, way back there, and I scored. It was a header at Ibrox. Still live on it now. Even now, the Celtic fans. One thing about Celtic, you play for Celtic, never forget you. I go through to Parkhead and you get treated like a king. If I go through and do any radio stuff, all the boys will remind you. They're grateful and thankful what you've done for them. And it was on a short period. That's regrets, not. I've never had any regrets. I think life moves on. Life's the regrets too strong a word. It's disappointments. Disappointments that you never got at Celtic earlier and stayed longer. And disappointments you never got at Hibs earlier and stayed longer. No, that disappointments at that, and if you never took that chance, disappointments that you broke your ankle and the injuries that I had, I've picked up. I was saying that to JC the other day. They're talking about the injuries and I said, what about you? I stubbed my toe once. What? Broken arms, and ripping the stookies off and playing with them. Broken wrists, broken arms, broken fingers, teeth, eyes, nose, broken legs, broken ankles. And he had to be fair, he had the greatest answer. He goes, good players don't have to tackle. That's your job. So, aye, fair enough. And he's right, man, that's gone back. When you see JC, he had the Cropley stuff, what I mean? Him and McStay could come back, you could run the show, they could go and score goals and all that stuff, and you're going. But then Tommy Burns saying, You don't have to be a midfielder. You can be a centre half to be like. And my old man always used to say that to me. My old man, you always used to say that. Football will evolve that much that you'll get a centre half with 6'3" with a sprinting like Linford Christie with the ball skills of Jimmy Johnston. That was my dad's words, with the ball skills of Jimmy Johnston. Right. And you're saying, I get that, I get that. But you're pigeonholed into being a centre half. But if you look at the big boy Lewis Dunk, Brighton, he's got the most touches of any player in the English Premiership because he's a quarterback. Yeah. There you go, brilliant.
Especially the trend now is start for the back.
Start for the back. You know, the reason you want to start for the back is, and I get all these guys that don't know football. Oh, why do you do that? Because you want the other team to jump. And as soon as you jump, that's when you get the grass. Yeah. It's when Man City and these guys and the other teams camped in, you can't break them down. So anyway, Celtic, brilliant. Yep. And then went to Hibs, Jockey Scott.
Can we touch on the Old Firm game, that
magnificent
header? Like, you can obviously
I think I played in 5 or 6 of them, never won one. And there's one I scored on 1-1. I played in one that was 3 each at Ibrox, and never gets played on the telly. And I'm saying, why didn't I? That was the best Old Firm game I ever played in. 3-0 at Ibrox.
Did that feel like a win to you, see, when you scored that
well,
goal?
I was picking up Alan McLaren for the one, and the ball got played in, it got whipped in there, and I should have had someone in front. The reason you put someone in front, so it's up there, so when it's up there you've got a chance to head it. And if it's over me, my goalie comes and gets it, and it come in flat, and he just got to it there and flicked it, and it flew in the bottom corner. So you're sort of saying you felt a little bit responsible. So to score the equaliser, the emotion, I was crying.
Yeah.
The tears were.
What brought you to that moment?
The emotion, I'm an emotional kind of guy. I see things on YouTube and watch things like that, and all that humanity in football, just wee bits and pieces, and you see and you go, brings it. And nothing apart with showing your emotions.
Yeah. Were you reflecting at all in terms of making the trips through with your dad and going to Parkhead and stuff like that?
I know what it meant. I know what it meant to the Celtic supporters and scoring. And when I scored, that was when the Celtic fans were there, so it was in that Celtic end at Ibrox, and when I scored I went to them. There was no stopping me, but the camera I couldn't keep up, and I think it went on
to Paul McStay.
It went on to Paul, and the next time it caught me, it was back, and you could see the tears. Kicked off, and Costy, to be fair, Costy says, well done, you say you deserve that. And then I think he hit the bar, him or Gascoigne hit the bar, and that stupid look at he's got that grin, he's got, you know what I mean? And I just went, don't start, because every time you played against him, there was always banter, always good banter. I think he'd done the banter because thinking, he'll be my mate, he'll not kick me, but he dished it out as well, because he took it and dished it out, as long as it was fair and above board.
Have you got any memorable bits of banter, anything that sticks out?
Just that one, bits and pieces. I think where one time I was heading everything, and give him that, look, because I always played with a smile on my face, believe it or not. Always had a smile on my face, getting stuck in, but I'd done it with a smile on my face, and I gave him a smile, and that old, I think he says one, didn't surprise me. You're not missing anything. I said, why? She says, because you've got a head the size of a Great Dane. Just wee bits and pieces of banter. And even big Mark Hateley, come in, elbows all about, your elbows all about, battered you, pick you up, you batter him, pick you up, and that was it. I think the game's changed. For the better, I'm not so sure. I am sure it is for the better. It is for the better, but I think every time somebody falls down, it's not always a free kick. People are cheating you, people are calling you referees, you have, and I think if you've played the game, you will see that. So, but the Old Firm was magic. There was a buzz about it, all the old players and some of that I got, Bertie and all that, and Billy and all that. They would all be in, Bobby Lennox and all that. They would all be in Old Firm game, and they would let you know how important it was. But it was a game when it come, it was cool, calm, collected, keep your ice in the veins. Don't let your teammate down in terms of getting sent off. There was one I went, the ball come up, Goran went to catch it, and it was there to go. It was under the crossbar, and I went for it, and Goran sort of got it, and I went in the back, and there was a big melee in the back. I wasn't getting involved. I wasn't. Hugh Dallas booked me. It didn't merit a booking. I was just sort of in the back of the net, in my hands, and they were all in. It didn't merit a booking.
I hope you've enjoyed our conversation with John Hughes up until this point, reflecting on his early life, getting into football, playing for Celtic. Part 2 will be coming soon, where we talk about the winding down of his playing career and getting into coaching and management. I hope to see you there. I hope you've enjoyed it, and look out for part 2. Thanks very much for watching and or listening. A special thanks to Finnegans Wake for welcoming us into their space to bring you this episode. Finnegans Wake take pride in place in Edinburgh's famous Victoria Street, with live music 7 nights a week from a huge range of bands, including extra early live acts on Friday and Saturday, making for an amazing atmosphere. Finnegans is a hub for live sport, especially GAA Irish Football, Hurling, as well as showing all major sporting events across its many screens and central big screen. And what's better than local? Finnegans Wake have a wide variety of locally brewed craft beers, including the newly installed Caffrey's Irish Ale. Finnegans is a place for everyone, with amazing staff and entertainment to help you have the best night possible. And don't forget to send in your good time photos from the photo booth. Once again, thank you so much to Finnegans Wake.